the PRELARP for E1 2023.
Hello,
oh boy,
PRELARP fans.
And we've got look at how look at this kind of evil day. You have we converted you yet?
No,
to the...
I feel I am warming to the PRELARP.
Right.
Mainly because other people, the PRELARP fans, love the PRELARP.
We've won you over,
and
we?
it's maybe
with our charm and our.
Let's not go too far. Let's not get carried away now.
But what an event! When we're gonna get into the event, but this is PRELARP talk.
I feel like this is going to be a long one.
Oh, we've gotten a range of beverages here ready to sort of help us through what is to come, which is going to be much talking and waffling as we do.
Yeah.
This whole event is a strange one to talk about, just because of the range of things that happened and the scope of it.
I would say we did Empire.
Yeah.
This is the most we did it type thing, right? Like, we did so much. Anyway,
yes, let's
not get
sidetracked
straight away.
Straight immediate waffling. So I guess kicking in, there was a few things that had kind of been percolating for a while. One of them was leaving the Entwined Paths and becoming the Ashbourne again. Basically just breaking off the Ashbourne as an individual thing. And it was nice. There was like kind of no. It was just like it was just. I think we just wanted like a quieter place to camp and just like our own space. And
I think there's like. It comes down to like personality stuff. Like I'm not a big. I don't want to be a member of a big group, right? Like
I think we both found that like actually it's quite nice to have a small sort of. It's just nice to be in your striding or your steading, right? Because it's.
I think importantly though, it really hasn't changed any of our relationships with those people that we were involved with. So it's not like we've really lost anything. We're just now more like. Condensed, you know, and I love being the Ashbourne again. By the way, like,
and we'll get to some of that actually when we get to Friday, because it's like there's a lot of cool things with the way our kind of group's structured. That is kind of like and about how we run some of our traditions and things, which I felt we were a bit more able to enact.
And plus, we now have Orion.
Having Orion join us is
Orion's special people.
Yeah.
He makes wonderful maps. He sings. He plays the guitar. He's an all-round lovely fella, and he's all ours.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy about that.
Oh man, stupidly talented.
Yeah.
And just a wonderful human being. And his character, and actually having someone who actually makes money and actually gets things done. Is like, I mean, I suppose you get things done, but like in terms of actually generating resources that we can use.
I try and get things done.
Yeah.
But all I am is really just a sports car wheeling its wheels round really, really fast. So it's loud and looks very impressive, but isn't actually going anywhere at all.
Is it one of those things where you've literally got the car pressed against the wall of a building and it's spinning until the tyres go?
Going anywhere. Yeah. That's my game. It's also wonderful having someone that can sing and play music just hanging around the camp, because so it's nice. Like that is always welcome, basically.
It was nice having the new camp. Obviously, that we were kind of waiting for the new camp plan to see exactly where we were. But I actually was really happy with where we ended up kind of like just beyond the market near where kind of Embercast and stuff were, next to the Dreadshields, who are really awesome as well. Really lovely people, right next to where the wheelbarrow rolls out from.
Oh man, that's a dangerous thing.
That is danger zone, but
having the wheelbarrow spawn point and unspawn point next to our camp is a very dangerous thing. Like,
I still feel, we'll get to that. I feel slightly cheated. I've not. I haven't done the real wheelbarrow yet.
Like Ian was talking about, like he's never experienced what it's like when you desperately need the wheelbarrow. Its lights will appear on the horizon, and it's just there when it
emerges from the mists and finds you. Yeah.
But you haven't experienced
I haven't had that yet. No, I want that. I want that experience.
You put a cheat code in, and you got it without earning it. know?
Up, down, left, right.
Yeah.
I
liked our new camp, by the way. I thought it was like it's a little bit out the way, which I like because we need to have a chill out space. Also, like we were connected enough to kind of like go and be in things when we needed to be. I liked it. I liked the dread shields as well. By the way,
really cool group.
Really nice.
I knew them before from some of the stuff I've done with the Navarches. Really nice group. Really like just.
I can only imagine what it's like camping next to us.
Oh yeah,
like
they have a good time too.
Oh yeah, they also
have a good time.
They have a good time.
So then it was just like a bunch of fun things that I thought were going into like crafting and stuff.
Yeah,
that I wanted to kind of implement, and one of these is the result of. We had this kind of secret Santa essentially. A Navari Secret Santa, and the person I ended up getting was this player who makes these wonderful crochet animals. And obviously, like, after the whole process, I got in touch, I was like, can you make me a 14... Well, like an iguana? Like, I really want, like, a lizard. Like, a big fucking lizard. And it's got to be green and gold. So she made my beautiful boy, who's like this 14-inch long iguana.
And what did you call him, Ian?
Ifan. Yeah, I found him. He's back.
You named him after my character that died.
Yeah, I did ask. Yeah. He's phenomenal. He's so beautiful.
He's cute.
He's really cute. And he ends up being like a really fun element that I get to interact with throughout the whole event, really. And it's fun to see how... I love... when crafting, obviously when you're making your kit and stuff, but the other things that you kind of put out into the world, and there's a bunch of stuff that we did in different ways doing that. The way it actually interacts with the world and it gives people the opportunity to interact with the world. One of which being some Gellet Ashbourne smut that we decided, that I decided we would sort of pop that out into the world. I had heard rumours that I was not the only person interested in making sure there was such a thing in the world. I'm not sure, but I'd heard that there might be more, and I think you've put out there that you're not adverse to there being.
I have publicly stated,
and
I'm probably going to regret doing this on the podcast, but I wholeheartedly support anyone that wants to make smut out of any character I play in any system.
Yeah,
as long as it's not too degrading, like go for it. Like I am happy and comfortable with that. I'm planting seeds wherever I go. You know,
it was a lot of fun. I got in touch with this wonderful artist called Vic Gray.
They're so good,
so good. Well, because originally I'd seen some of their work through another friend, and I was like, oh, I would really love like something like this for Talus. So I had some artwork for like Talus and bubbles and stuff made for some like advertising for my products I wanted to do.
You made a visual representation of Talus descending into madness, surrounded by bubbles.
Well, it was great because I just kind of, I just kind of gave this idea of like, this is my character, sent a bunch of reference photos. If you can involve bubbles and archery into it, that would be amazing. And that brief was real and just go wild, basically.
They nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it. Like and the thing is, the level of detail, but they also kind of I even get like a little video of like a time lapse of them drawing it and stuff, which is really fucking awesome.
Oh, man, that's
dude,
awesome.
And it was like, I mean, such high quality, and like I can use it in all these different ways. I ended up using it as like a kind of a wraparound thing to go around my bubble blowers. That was basically when you unfurl it, you've got the image on one side, and then on the other side is like Talus's sales spiel, essentially.
Merchandising.
Oh, it was so good. It was like merchandising, with the real money from the movies made.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it was really good fun.
Your continuing gentrification of what it is to be a Navari is...
And then, like, yeah, I got to use it for like stickers and stuff as well. Oh, another thing I missed out on was, and this is more linked to the actual plot, of the game, which was the quest into Brokeliand. And
big news.
Big news. We're going into Brokeliand to basically take a peeky at the heart.
Yeah.
That ends up having all kinds of plot ramifications. But as part of that, I'd kind of been in touch with Uncle Nietzsche of the Jolly Jackdaws. And I was like, because I knew that he was heading in there.
Well, he didn't believe that
the Vlorn was real. He thought it was all like a joke. And I was like, oh, well, maybe we could set something up where, like, we encounter each other. And I was like, what if you help me get Ifan down, this iguana, from a burning tree and, like in the middle of Brokeliand, like I'm rescuing...
Hold on. So, am I right in thinking, lore-wise, Ifan is a real iguana?
Oh, yeah, no, he's real. He's alive.
Okay, that did not come across... I just assumed Talis is a crazy person.
He's my darling boy. I mean, he's my darling boy. And I saw him up in a tree in Brokeliand, and it was burning away. So I had to scramble up there to go and get it as like Quill, who's Orion's character, is desperately drawing maps of the region because we're out there like on the frontiers. And then just as we're getting pushed out of Brokeliand and it all looks desperate, Uncle Nietzsche and the Barstool Bastards come along to save the day and give me enough time to wrestle Ifan out of the tree, get down, and we made out. It was so good. They got out of town. It was so good. Yeah. So that's kind of like the story that we kind of set up. And that kind of just basically meant that we could have a reason to then kind of properly... We've kind of seen each other before, but we were kind of characters that wanted to cross paths, so we thought it'd be nice to set like an icy reason to go and meet up. That was
Tom's
just really
people
fun.
Anyway, right?
Tom is phenomenal. I love everything he's doing.
They do the LARPs and Tarps.
Yeah, the LARPs and Tarps stuff.
Very, very good podcast. Go listen to them.
Yeah.
You have more stuff on this list.
I have a lot of stuff on this list. Crafting-wise, it's kind of weird. I've reached a stage where and this is always a dangerous statement to make, I'm kind of finished on Talis stuff. Kind of.
As soon as you started saying this, I'm like, Talis's time on this world is... Yeah. You don't... You give the vibe where it's just like, a finished project isn't, like... I don't know. I worry about what's going to happen to Talis at this stage.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff that's happened this event. But I think there's a lot. And like I go through some arcs in this event. Yeah. But a lot of that, I guess, is based off this mentality of like, I'm really happy with where my character is. Like where like the performance of it, I'm very comfortable with it now. I feel like I actually am a figure in the nation, and people enjoy it
so much. Like you're so happy. You're like become this flamboyant, bubble blowing, crazy person, and it's so fun seeing you so fucking happy and comfortable in your own skin.
Oh, dude, it's been so much fun, and I was kind of like, I'm genuinely having a great time. But I was also thinking like. I like character arcs. I'm naturally drawn to this idea of the hero's journey. I always like there to be an idea of there is progression and an evolution happening to a character. And I was kind of like, there is like other levels of extra I can go with Talis for sure, but it's like I'm the needle is hitting up to close to the top of that fucking register. Right?
I would say you've turned it up to 11. At this stage,
yes, exactly. So I kind of feel like it's the revs are like really going like.
There's probably only one other nation you can go to turn that dial up to 12 at this stage.
And so I was really thinking like, which is great by the way. I love everything that's involved with doing that, but like at the same time, I was thinking like, this is a great time to really take some risks with the character and to enter the event with very much a mindset of like not necessarily worry so much about the fate.
I want to talk about things that happen later right now. So let's move on because I really want to talk to you about this. But like,
as a result, I didn't have a lot personally to make. But what I did do was I decided I wanted to craft new Ashbourne banners for us. So I made these kind of leverette, essentially, Ashbourne banners to hang on either side of the thing, especially now we were becoming a separate sort of thing. So I kind of hand sewed like a bunch of those. That was really good, nice little fun project just to do. I like.
They look fantastic.
I think I really enjoy having a physical crafting project on the go. Just they're complete. I agree, they look good, but they're essentially just made really for my own mental health.
Yeah,
just literally to have something to do.
Well, you get that sweet dopamine hit of finishing off a project, right?
Yes. It feels so nice, and getting both those done, and then being able to hang them up on our new place.
And then you end with something physical, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think this is a problem. Like, I played a load of computer games recently, and there's something different about playing a computer game. You have like that nice dopamine hit of like finishing a game off, but like once it's done, you put it away, right? And whereas like a crafting project is a physical thing that you have access to, right?
Well, I think that's why. I mean, we've both got quite into 40k and doing miniatures, and there's something nice about assembling things and painting them and getting them on the table. Dude. I mean, obviously, you have.
I imagine my living room. Okay, like if you watch the Can't Craft Roadcraft video on our YouTube channel, you get a brief insight into what my flat looks like.
Yeah,
but we are literally surrounded by unfinished plastic models.
Yeah. It's actually, from where I'm sitting right now, it's impossible for me to move my head without somewhere in my vision there being plastic models.
Maybe that corner over there, but that's...
No, I don't know. I can still see that. I can still see the
peripheral.
Yeah. It's impossible.
You can see the Orc jet over there.
Yeah. Oh, that is
burner
painted.
bomber.
That's really nice.
It's not finished, though.
It's not finished. But
I still need to do the lines, and it's not finished, Ian. There's no such thing as finished.
There isn't. That's the problem. But anyway, what I'm saying is there is something really good, I think, about having a physical thing that you can finish. And I think we've both found that in different ways. And so I did these banners. It was really good fun. And then I was like, I want to do one for the Navarchas as well. Mm-hmm. The Navarchas logo is a fair bit more complicated.
Yeah. Could you describe it?
So it's basically like 3 arrows kind of crossing with like this kind of circle of thorns, but it's kind of done in that style where no one piece of the design touches any other. So it's all like broken into like a silhouette, if you like. Mm-hmm. So it has this kind of cohesive vibe to it. I'll probably post up pictures of them all at some point. Mm-hmm. But it's a fair bit more complicated, and because I had set myself this idea of hand sewing it all, which for some reason I like doing, it took, and it's double-sided as well, so essentially you're doing the same thing twice.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Hand sewing is for mugs.
It is, but I really enjoyed it. I did actually end up wearing this as like, I was originally going to have it like hang it up, but it just didn't practically work on our camp because we already had the other two Ashbourne logos. Uh-huh. So then having another one in the middle, you would just constantly have your head flapping against a flag. So I was like, I'm just going to wear it right on my hip.
Yeah, it's cool though.
It actually looked really cool. Yeah, so actually, in a weird way, I did end up adding to Talis kit, and that was really good fun. Something else that I did do actually was that Sam, his character Sparrow, had obviously gone into the labyrinth. And he'd given me a piece of his tartan, and I'd previously I'd just been tying it around my glove and just like tying a knot, but I decided to actually kind of like actually make a glove like an over glove out of it, so then I could just have it as a quicker thing just to slip on, so I can actually literally always walk around with Sparrow on my hand essentially.
It might have come up as well later on, but Sparrow's impact on the nation has been like fucking great. The Sparrow stage,
it's lovely.
Is literally like a performance area where it's literally dedicated to him. Fuck
nice.
You, Sam, and your fucking legacy.
I
know.
know
what I mean? Like, what a prick.
I got a whole bunch of IC lights as well. I've been trying to. I wouldn't say our camp is particularly like. It's not like mega IC.
No, it's not very IC.
But we try.
It is.
Yeah, like on the scope of what's possible on a budget for bringing in your car.
Yeah.
I mean, you go some other places like the Crimson Reaper camp or whatever.
Wood's fucking heavy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you really want to go like proper,
yeah, you
know, and there are lots of camps that do have like you can walk into their tents and be like completely immersed. We don't really have the option to do that because
Yeah, it's just not functional.
I live on the top of a block of flats.
Yeah.
There's no lift here. There's nowhere to put it.
My wife already tolerates enough of my LARP shit.
Yeah.
She's not going to put up with any more.
Yeah.
So I got these kind of a whole bunch of lights, but I also got these really nice little cute lanterns that we could all have, and I got one for each person, and I thought they were very successful. They make it because walking around at night, you're listening to a little light, and you can kind of pop it on and off your belt and light them up. It's very reasonable, I thought, and they work pretty well. So I was pretty chuffed with those.
Well done, Ian.
Something else that was really fun that had happened was the Novarchis group. We decided we'd just try and do a bunch of hangouts.
You've never done this before.
No.
I've been to a couple of meetups here and there, some froth meetups, but when you were like, oh yeah, I'll meet up with the Novarchis near Cambridge and we're going to go to a campsite, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It was cool. So we just met up near Silver's got this kind of Stefan, who plays Silver, who's kind of like my second in
very practical,
and is
man.
Actually the brains of the operation.
Yes.
And I just love him so much. But anyway, he had this kind of good kind of area where we could literally go and do some LARP archery and just kind of all meet up.
Did you get in kit?
Yeah, we got dressed up. Yeah.
Nice.
It was cool. I mean, it was kind of I would say kind of 50 to 80% kind of kit. It was very casual. I was wearing Talis light gear, which is still quite a lot.
Yeah.
But it was just a lovely evening, and we'd also just before that done a few. We've done now two, Discord meetups, one post event,
really,
and one before the event.
Look at you!
Yeah, it was really nice just to have this, and we've already got a Facebook group, and obviously we all, we message each other and stuff. So it's nice to have this group where you can kind of just interact and just come up with ideas,
where everybody knows your name.
Yeah. Well, you can have it's really fun, and it's just
oh god, is the Novarchis a big Talis fan club?
No, it's not. That's a horrible way of putting it. No, it's not at all. Actually, you know what? It's actually. I'm sure a bunch of military groups do this. It's just actually a good way to talk about how things are structured. And it was actually quite nice doing and I'll talk about it now because it's post LARP, but I'm probably not going to talk about it on the end of Sunday. But we did a Discord meeting just talking about how we thought things went, what we can do to improve on, stuff like that.
This is good mental health practice.
Yeah, really nice. It was really fun, and just to basically go over each other's sort of weekends, just literally have a breakdown of what did we enjoy, just tell me about things and what can we do to improve and how can I make things better for all of you guys and stuff like that. It was really fun. So yes, having a group, getting people together was just awesome, super fun. Being able to meet up in person was lovely. Hopefully we're going to be able to do a bit more of that. We kind of touched on going to
we
the
talked about
Heart,
the
but I
Heart.
think one of the main things for me with that though was so basically one of the things you could do was if you had a military unit, you got to choose how deep into Brokeliand your military unit went.
Yeah.
Now, my character has a herb garden, and I guess the fantasy, the fiction of my character is that I play a physic who is an individual hero who goes off into Brokeliand, and in my mind, he is at the tip of the spear as a frontline medic. As an individual, right? Not as part of a military unit necessarily, but as an individual, he's there helping guide people through Brokeliand. So when this option came up to go to the Heart and to basically get secret note, essentially, if you had a military unit there, a debrief of what you saw when you got there, I was I want this so bad. It's literally I would say it's the thing I've wanted the most out of any plot related thing. It's the core of what the character is actually about in a lot of ways. It's the culmination of what the character's about in a lot of ways. So I was So I messaged PD. To cut a long story short, and basically the answer was no. Which I do get, and I understand it's a fest LARP, and the scales. I think this is one of the things. The scales of the LARP don't allow really for these kind of individual exceptions to be made. I tried as best as I could to put across what I thought was a compelling argument to why.
You were so bummed out, though.
I was really bummed out about it, but actually it worked out okay. I was able to work with some other players to basically RP around it in very satisfying ways. But it definitely sold to me, and this isn't so. It sounds like it's negative on Empire and PD and stuff. It's not really, but it really did sell to me this idea that like I do need to go to some other LARP systems and just experience what like a 50-person LARP is like, or like an 100-person LARP is like, because I think there are different economies of scale and what's possible for, like how, for example, you and the Dubois brothers in Northern Kingdoms, we have like a mechanic that has been specifically built for you. Yeah. Like, obviously you can't do that at somewhere like Empire. That's not possible. I think, and these exceptional cases obviously can't be made. I do kind of respect it. Personally, it wasn't a good feeling, and I was pretty bummed out about it. Because had I known that this was a thing and that law would be locked in this kind of way, I definitely would have swapped.
Do you know, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't say something like, we can swap your herb garden for a military unit. If you pay us the money when you get to the next event, we'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I would, and I 100% would. But that's the other thing. I'd said I will literally give up all of my resources. I'll literally just empty out, or everything I own, just to represent the fact that I have been spending all of my herbs, all of my stuff, just to heal people along the way, which I'm totally happy to do. I think that would be good RP. It makes sense to the character. Like, he's literally just been picking people up and chucking them further and further so we could basically get to the heart. I would be totally fine with that. Because another thing I realised about the game, I really don't care about money. I don't care about resources.
Nope.
None of it actually matters to me in any way beyond the fun it enables me to have and the fun it enables me to allow other players around me to have. Everything else is irrelevant. I don't turn up to play a spreadsheet exercise or engage in anything which is to do with massive number crunching in any way. I understand obviously that other players are into those kind of things. That's not personally something that excites me, so I have no real profit motive in any way that reflects any of those things.
No, like I think you're very role play, like you're talking about with narrative. I'm exactly the same. I love developing narrative from RP. Yeah, I mean, I think we could do an entire episode. Like, you want to come to a smaller LARP this year, which is really exciting.
Oh, with me. I'm going to Flying Lead, and I am so excited.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that.
So I think, like, the differences between a fest LARP and a smaller LARP, like, you can't get Empire anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's huge. The battles are fantastic. Yeah. It's got the systems that all interact with each other are fucking fascinating. I love the nations. I love all that stuff. But this comes at a cost that it's a less of a bespoke thing, right?
Yeah, things have to be done on a broader scale. Yeah. Obviously, there's an economy of scales. And you can still, like, as we'll discover with both of our stories, you can still have very individualized plot. You just have to make a lot of it yourself, essentially. Yeah.
Well, it depends. Yeah. Like, this is we could go on a whole hour-long conversation about this, I think. Yeah. So
that was that impacted a fair bit of stuff and the way, like, but it gave me an opportunity to talk to some other people I know and basically work around setting up these IC hooks about what Talis actually could have been doing during this time, and that actually worked out quite well. I worked with Orion, his character, and how I'd be helping him out, like, mapping the region. That had been fun, and then working with obviously Tom and how I'd interacted with his military unit there again to get Ifen out the tree. So it opened up all of that. So actually, weirdly, this bad thing happening did open up a bunch of, like, cool RP inspirations, but it was still quite bumming at the time. Beyond that, the other sort of thing was there were two sort of positions, if you like, that one you were going for, and you had your eye on, and the other a friend of ours who plays Gwendolyn Splinterspear is going for, and the first of those is the Thimble, which is like a Bourse seat. It's a national. It's Bourse
a national Bourse seat, which means that only people from the VAR can get that.
Yeah,
it's done by votes from people that own herb gardens. Yeah. So it's actually quite a hard title to get because hard, you don't know who's got the resources.
Yeah.
You really have to hustle to go and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also if your herb garden has been improved through the use of weirwood, your essentially your votes count for more votes.
Yeah.
My own personal taste on that, I think that's like there's a slight weirdness with the system I'm not entirely happy with in that respect.
There's a lot of systems in Empire that are based on Monopoly.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like if you play the game for a long time, you gather resources and you can buff things up and you become more powerful. I get it. But maybe, I don't know, like I see where you're coming from and I can see arguments for both sides.
I agree. I think that for me, personally, and I think naturally that's how it will go and there will always be an element of that. I think, I like the idea of there being a more fluid change of people and the more opportunity for people outside of these...
Or new players to affect stuff.
To rise up. Because I also don't like the whole idea where you have this thing where, like, it turns also into people who've been there a long time, very sort of wealthy in resources. People can feel like they can have like these resources and then essentially give them out to people to encourage them to do things.
To be fair, I should say, like, this definitely isn't a personal attack on the person who has the Thimble.
No, not at all. I love them.
They're actually, I think they've owned it for 1 year.
Yeah.
They won this time around, but I think they're very good at what they do. So it definitely isn't an attack on that.
I think it's the system. Right? The system itself is kind of like a bit like I'm not sure how I feel about the voting resource can be improved to then allow the votes to mean more. I find that just fundamentally a bit weird.
I think it's
built into the game.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's a design choice. I think we view things a lot on like a new player perspective who wants to come into the game and kind of affect the world. And it's like you can do that, but like an awful lot of the systems are like paying mana in the magic people's place to talk, right?
Yeah.
Like that's exclusionary. The Bourse seats, you have to have an awful lot of money, and when you do get one of these things, then you get profit from the resources because the markup's actually quite good. So you're snowballing.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all design choices. I fully understand why they're in the game. It can be a bit frustrating when you have the mentality that we have going into it, right? So,
yeah, I agree. I think, it's just it brings up like whole conversations about like if there should be like term limits and stuff like that.
Actually do believe in term limits. Like I'm actually a big fan of the idea of having term limits.
But then that feels like the kind of thing that has to be done. I see obviously that the Empire has to pass those kind of rules.
Yeah, that would be a job for Synod, I think.
Yeah,
try and make a religious ruling on it. But even then, it might be quite.
It will never happen.
It's really hard. Okay, actually, this segues quite nicely into me. Going into this event, I am the ambassador to Yarm. Okay, the kind of old trade nation that we've traded with for 100 years. Now, understandably, the player base thinks slavery is pretty shitty, which is very understandable. I've spent the last year being ambassador. I had good times. I had bad times. I've struggled at times with the role. There's a few things like I emailed PD to try and understand when I first got the job. The question was slavery. Why? Okay, that was my real question because as ambassador, in order to understand like how do I unpick this knot that is slavery in a place, I need to understand more about why it works. Like, is it racism? Is it economics? Is it hierarchical social structures? Like, is it historic? Like, tell me more about this. And I got a little bit of a frustrating email back that I found was shutting the door on an awful lot of this stuff. Over this year, I've tried my best to try and normalize relations, which has gone quite badly, especially seeing that the Liberty Pact can literally, like, I went through a whole pain in the arse trying to get this, like, neutrality motion passed in Senate. Get it through. The Liberty Pact literally then vote immediately to embargo Yarm.
Yeah.
Then Yarm embargo us back, and it's just like this, like, it kind of felt like I am literally wasting my time doing this, right? Like, it's like that or maybe I'm not good enough of a player to try and interact with these things, right? Like, I don't know, but it was like, I found it really hard to achieve anything.
Yeah.
Like, ambassadors can't put a motion through Senate, so you have to get a senator to do it. They only have one motion and 1 second. So you're basically giving up. A senator needs to give up their ambitions and their aims, which are usually a lot more nation focused or helping the empire in some way. The foreign service is very much an afterthought in an awful lot of things. So I was definitely going to give up my seat, right? Like, I've been thinking about it and umming and ahhing about it.
You've been thinking about it for a while. It's been kind of percolating in your mind for a bit, I think.
Well, and then I went to the London Froth.
Yeah.
And I sat down with David, who is the now ex-senator to Hakinia.
Yeah.
And I sat down and he went, "Why don't you run for Senate?" And I remember saying, "No, I don't want to do that. I want to just relax and enjoy myself and not have any responsibility. Like, I'm watching you blowing bubbles, living your best fucking life, and there I am doing like 20,000 steps a day, talking to loads of people, getting shut out, getting into arguments with people, achieving very little. Even when I do achieve something, Yarm basically messages me back and be like, 'You're a fucking idiot, please stop talking to us.'" Yeah. Like, it's been a rough year for me, okay? Yeah. But then, literally, something happened. And bear in mind, David's got, like, he's so fucking dreamy, right? Yeah. He's got a winning smile.
Charisma for days.
Beautiful eyes. And by the time I finished talking to him, I was like, okay, I'll run, okay? Yeah. Like, I'll go, I'll run. And then basically, he just kind of groomed me for it. And then after a while, I was like, man, as a senator, I could do a lot more than as an ambassador. I might be able to actually achieve things, right? Yeah. Like, I might be able to actually do good things for the nation, the empire, maybe even, like, I came up with a plan. I'm not going to talk about my plan because it's still very much active, but I came up with Operation Phoenix.
You sent this to me and I was like, what is this?
It's probably won't work, but it's a great plan.
Right.
I think it's a good plan.
Yeah.
Like, in real politic terms, like, if you want to talk about the relationship between the United States and the Soviet Union in the dying days of the Soviet Union, this is very much in that kind of ilk of it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I can't really talk about it because it's active game. But so I decided that I was going to run for Senate. I was going to run for the senator to Hakinia, and once I kind of put in the fort, once that seed had been planted, and this was back in December, it just grew and grew and grew, and I don't like doing anything if I'm not going to kind of like give it my all. And then this became, we'll talk about it in the actual LARP, but fucking hell, yeah, we'll talk about it.
We made posters and flyers. That was really good fun because I did like a real like populist style poster.
Yeah,
and
deliberately populist. Like I'm a big solutions guy. Yeah. Like, wasn't one of the things on the flyer? Getting stuff done.
Yeah, was literally one of the. There was one of the 3 bullet points.
Virtuous, getting stuff done. What was the other one?
Prosperity.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
That is one of the virtues. So you're essentially repeating.
Yeah, it's
so there's like virtuous is like point 1. One of the virtues essentially repeated as point 2, and then get stuff done is point 3. It's like the most populous, and a big picture of you.
Yeah, a big picture of me smiling, looking fancy, and with big bold text vote get it for Hakinia or whatever.
Yeah. It was so funny.
Populism works, unfortunately. So closing out this little pre-LARP, we've got into a lot of different stuff already, to be honest. Jesus, you pre-LARP savages.
I know. There's little, it's like you're getting a little teaser trailer.
It's not
for
really.
It's like an aperitif.
It's just spoilers.
Okay, yeah, it's spoilers dressed up as a teaser.
Literally just spoilers.
It's one of those trailers that literally tell you the whole story.
I can't watch trailers anymore because they spoil the whole movie. Whereas you pre-LARP savages are there going, I want everything spoiled. Tell me exactly what's going to happen, and then I can enjoy it later on. It's sick. But I got a little message from a person,
right?
Basically saying, "You're never going to believe this, but Navarre are now the biggest nation at Empire."
Yeah, you did. You told me that you had received this little message, which was interesting. It's
we've been
slowly growing,
creeping up on Wintermark. It's weird.
I still didn't feel like we're the biggest nation.
No, do you know what it is? It's weird because there were more people and less tents.
Yeah.
So more people were sharing tents. So the actual camp itself didn't really expand that much, but there were more people. But at the same time, where are we? Like Navarre, there's a lot of them all over the place, and there was a few standings where there weren't that many people there. Actually, we'll talk about that. But interesting, Navarre, you're big and beautiful. Love you, Navarre.
It's just an awesome nation to be part of.
I love it.
Yeah,
and also I've got friends in the league.
Yeah,
they're trying to get me to join them. I've got the Star Bar in the Brass Coast. Why don't you come Brass Coast?
Yeah.
I feel like the belle of the ball sometimes when I'm going to Empire, but my heart is with Navarre.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
They're great.
Dude.
Yeah.
So it's so lovely. It's nice. I think there's something special about the woods. And I think maybe that's part of why it doesn't necessarily feel like the nation is as big as it is, because the woods give you this kind of natural kind of blocking lines where you don't see the whole camp at once.
A lot of the
thing.
paths also curve, don't they?
Yeah. So there's probably a lot more tents than you think that are hidden in there.
Yeah. Also, they've cleaned out that back section,
which
so there's a lot more space. Yeah, because we were out there and it was it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was lovely, actually. It was because when we first arrived, we weren't quite sure with how the camp plan was, where we were. But actually, I think our site is really nice. Where we were, I think we really liked it. It worked well with the Dread Shields who are next door, and I think we're going to do something really nice in the future.
Right, a new
thing.
Feature. So we are now going to give shout-outs to patrons who kindly support us, especially in this cost of living crisis. We really appreciate it. But we've got a magic number of 8 patrons now, which means we can roll a D8. Oh, that's a D10.
Have you literally fucked up the one thing?
Oh, God, hold on.
Hold on. He's going to get himself a D8.
Keep them entertained, Ian.
So, the idea is that we are going to roll a D8 to see which Patreon listener of you wonderful people, you long-suffering Patreon listeners, is going to get their name read out. Dave is busy fumbling between...
I got D10s for days.
You.
Why?
You moron. No, he's busy fumbling through various polyhedral dice and Warhammer figures.
Oh man!
You're going to have to roll a D10 and then just roll a 9 or 10 again if you get it.
Okay.
All right.
Done. Okay. Hold on.
All right, he's going back.
All right, I'm back. Okay, cool. Right, let me get my little list out.
What are the odds of you rolling a 9 or 10?
Probably quite high.
Yeah.
Oh,
6.
It's a 6.
There you go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's Andy Raff.
Andy Raff, thank you so much.
Thank you, Andy Raff. Really appreciate it, you cheeky little scamp. We appreciate your support as always. Cool. We'll be back for Friday.
Love you.